What's up, guys? Today I'm starting my, what I said, the genre-specific top list. I'm doing a little something different today. I've got my sports movies here, and what I'm doing different with this one is I couldn't choose just 5 sports movies, so it's going to be the top 7, because really basically all 7 of them are good, and everybody's seen probably all 7 of these. But number 7 is The Sandlot. A real great baseball movie. I'm sure everybody has seen The Sandlot. And all the lore behind it, around the the Babe Ruth baseball. Real great, just a good film for the whole family. And to me, it really helps the younger generation understand baseball. Like, here's, the aura surrounding Babe Ruth and baseball. And it comes on TV all the time, and I know a lot of people like this movie. And it just recently started getting popular, I guess because it's over 20 years old now. But, I remember watching it when I was growing up. And actually, I think it is 20 years old this year. So, hopefully there'll be a 20th anniversary Blu-ray of this, because I want to see all the kids 20 years later now and see what they're doing. Do that with the special features. That would be something neat. All the kids 20 years later what Smiles, doing today. But overall, I've not seen too many people that haven't seen this movie. It comes on TV all the time, every summer, and most all kids like it. The next one is a baseball movie I know most people have seen. Most sports lovers have seen it. It's Field of Dreams. Really great film. Kind of mystical quality of bringing back Shoeless Joe Jackson and all these greats. James Earl Jones is magnificent. Kevin Costner, and I've always said Kevin Costner can do 2 types of movies: baseball movies and westerns, because he's more successful in those than any other type of movie. I don't know of a lot of people that's not seen this movie either. This one has been seen by a lot too. It's just one of the best baseball movies, and it's kind of neat to hear some of the stats that Ray Kinsella, Kevin Costner's character, says about some of the players. It's kind of neat to, see these guys playing old baseball players and really, because that's a lot of people's childhood, and you hear about them growing up as a baseball fan. But, it's a real good movie. One thing about it is few people know, and some people probably do know it though, is this is Charlton Heston's last movie he ever did, was this movie here. He died the year that, not long after this movie came out. So it's his last film, and I think he does a good job in the short role he's in. And the next one, the movie I know a lot of people have seen, the basketball movie. It's number 5 on the list. Hoosiers. Gene Hackman, Dennis Hopper, Barbara Hershey. To me, Gene Hackman and the late Dennis Hopper are 2 of the greatest actors that have ever been. But what's to say about Hoosiers? Anyone that, like me, that grew up in a small town, and you've got a high school basketball team that ends up going off and achieving success with these big schools, or like in our case, our high school football team, it makes headlines, and the whole town shut down for this. One thing about it though is it is a good basketball movie, but and it's Hoosiers, so it's Indiana, and I'll go to my grave saying the fact that without Kentucky basketball, there wouldn't be Indiana basketball, and that's a proven fact. I won't get into an argument about that, because before Adolph Rupp left Kansas under Phog Allen, that was the only place basketball was, and it was a club sport for rich kids. Adolph Rupp comes to Kentucky in 1930, and farm kids all over the country learned basketball, and it's because of Adolph Rupp at Kentucky, it widespread. So Indiana and Hoosiers have a little bit of thanking for us Kentuckians for making basketball big as it is. But overall, I mean, it could be any high school in America, rural, small town America. That's what's great about this movie. You know, it's one school, but it could be any rural, small town school. If you grew up in a small town and you got that high school that had success or something once back in the 70s or 80s, and they still got their championship banner, you know, you can relate to this. Now, this one was a little hard to place, but I felt that the three before it were more deserving of the top three. But this is still a good movie, and it spawned 6 sequels, and I think all of them are good. That's Rocky. You know, the ultimate underdog story, really. You know, it's the movie that won the Best Picture in 1976, and most everybody's seen this film. And of course, you know, you got the infamous, you know, Rocky theme, and everybody always wants to run up the steps in Philadelphia to that theme. And you know, I'm not talking Eye of the Tiger. I'm talking na 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 na. No, that theme. I'm not talking Eye of the Tiger. That came down the road in Rocky 3. I'm talking the original theme. And it's really like the story of the underdog that, you know, he may have lost, but he triumphed and captured the heart of a city. And it's basically something that most everybody can relate to. If you're small and someone tells you can't do something, he went all them rounds with the world champ. You know, which basically everybody knows Apollo Creed is supposed to be Muhammad Ali, and Rocky Balboa is supposed to be Rocky Marciano. That's the way it was supposed to be because of that computer fight that they did. But you know, good movie overall. I mean, I think this one's good. I think some of the sequels are a little bit better. I may actually do a thing of all 6 Rocky films later, but just wanted to, you know, this is one of the best sports movies ever made. Of course, now the next one actually would be the ultimate underdog story, is the real one. And it's the movie that a lot of people say, you know, because they say guys don't cry watching movies, and girls say, how can you guys not cry during Fried Green Tomatoes or Walk to Remember, or none of that. You know, it's like, oh yeah, us guys do cry. We don't show it, but when old Yeller died, we cried like little babies when we was 8. This is the only movie I think where a guy gets choked up, and it's Rudy. Any guy, you know, you'll get choked up watching this movie because I don't know what it is about Rudy, but it's the love affair with football. I think that we have in this country, how much we love football, and the fact that he finally triumphs, you know, that makes it. But you know, most guys that love football, you know, you get a little bit choked up watching. It's just a little bit. Real great film. You know, Sean Astin does great. Of course, now he's known as Sam from Lord of the Rings. My generation knows him as Rudy. You know, he just did a masterful job in this movie. And it's weird to think, too, this movie came out in 1993, so this movie's 20 years old this year. I want a 20th anniversary Blu-ray of this, and I want to see where Rudy and most of them players, if they're still alive, where they're at today. Do a documentary on that, because that'd be something neat to see. And I reckon Rudy Ruettiger, the character that this is based on, I think he's still alive and lives in South Bend, Indiana, actually. And I guess it was so good because the 2 men that created Hoosiers did this movie, but this, you know, and they're both true stories. And it'd be nice if you could get sports movies like this again. I know there's one coming out about Jackie Robinson called 42, and it's about Jackie Robinson, comes out sometime this year, and I'm looking forward to it because I love baseball movies. Next 2, people are probably going to disagree on the placement. Most people would probably place this one number 1, but you can't see the title too good on the front there, but you can probably kind of tell what movie this is, because see, it's Raging Bull. Of course, the back of it, he got him with Jake LaMotta. Real great movie. To me, this is a better baseball or a better boxing movie. Better boxing movie than Rocky. And I guess probably because this is a true story. And of course, who De Niro is, it makes it a great film. It is better in a lot of ways than Rocky because it tells a true story. And some people I've seen said they don't like it because it's black and white, but to me, the black and white adds to the greatness of this and the magic of this movie. The cinematography and it being black and white add to it. It makes it more magical because it come out in the 80s and it was black and white, and people back then, hadn't seen a black and white movie probably since the 50s, and even into the 60s, because there's movies like The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance was black and white, and it was into the 60s, but this movie had to be black and white. It works better black and white, and I haven't watched it in a while, and I need to watch it again because it's a real great movie. But probably one of the best boxing films of all time. One film I do not have that I think is probably the definitive boxing movie is a movie called The Champ. If you've never seen that movie, look it up. I can't remember all who stars in it, but it's probably the definitive boxing movie ever. This movie, I had to put it number one just because of who's starring in it and whose story they're telling. And it is The Pride of the Yankees, starring Gary Cooper, Walter Brennan. Of course, Gary Cooper's playing the legendary Lou Gehrig, the Iron Horse. Gary Cooper's underrated. I don't care, people, they don't remember Gary Cooper. He died in 1961, I think. And people don't remember it. He won an Academy Award for High Noon. He won an Academy Award for Sergeant York. Two films, by the way, which are really great movies. He was nominated for the Academy Award for this, and this actually, I think, come out the year before or the year after Sergeant York. But had he won the Academy Award for this, he would have won back. He'd have been the first three-time Academy Award-winning actor in Hollywood history, and he would have been the first to win back-to-back Academy Awards. But it's just an overall great film. Gary Cooper plays Lou Gehrig excellently. Gary Cooper is a little bit older. He's 42 when he made this film, because Gary Cooper, I think he was 42. I might have been a little bit older, a little bit younger, but it don't matter because it's Gary Cooper. He was a great actor, and it's sad that today's generation don't know a lot of his work. I've got 4 of his movies, this being one of them. And he had a lot of great works and stuff. So really, the best sports movie ever is Pride of the Yankees. You can't beat a story about Lou Gehrig. That was my top 7 sports films. Like I said, I couldn't pick just 5 because these are all 7 great. But is there a movie on the list you agree with? Was there one you disagree with? Would you add one? Would you take away? I'd love to hear from you. It was kind of easy to pick the top 3. The top 3 were easy, to have Rudy, Raging Bull, and Pride of the Yankees. But some of the others, it's kind of hard. Like Hoosiers wasn't that hard to have on this list. Everybody's got Hoosiers as one of their top sports films. But really, Rocky, Field of Dreams, and The Sandlot were kind of hard to pick and place because there's others. You got the Babe Ruth movie, The Babe. You've got 61. You've got 8 Men Out. You've got the better Rocky films, which is Rocky 3. And Rocky Balboa. You've got The Wrestler. It's just so many different sports films. And, a lot of them I don't have, like Brian's Song. I don't have it, or I would have had it here. I don't have Brian's Song. I don't have the movie The Champ. But there are a lot of good sports movies. And of the ones I've got, these 7, to me, are the best ones ever. And I probably would still have Rudy, Raging Bull, and Pride of the Yankees as the top 3 regardless. Maybe. But, if you disagree with the list, I'd love to hear from you. What movie would you add to this list, and what movie would you take off? Because like I said, it's just my opinion on the top sports movies of all time. That's just my opinion. You know what to do below the video. I don't need to tell you that. You're smart enough. But next week I will probably do family and comedy together, because I don't have enough family movies and comedy movies to do separate. I don't think if I do, I'll do comedy separate and family separate, but if not, I'll combine them, because a lot of comedies are family films. And I may do decades specific. I got a request to do best of the 80s, so I may wait and do that last. It'll be the last thing, one of the last things I do, because it's a decade. I'm going to cover from 80 to 89. And I'll also do, if I have enough, and I should have enough films, should be best of the 90s too. So I got a lot of 80s films, so it'll take a while to do best of the 80s, because I got a lot. I got more films from the 80s than I got any other decade. But I'll probably do best of the 80s and best of the 90s last. I'm not sure what I'll do next week, but it'll probably be comedy and or family combined or separate, depending on if I have enough to do comedy separate and family separate. I will make a quick note about war movies. I don't have a problem doing a movie about war, a video about war movies, and it will cover all the wars: Revolutionary, Civil War, WW2, you know. But I don't feel it's right to do a top so many of those without Full Metal Jacket and Platoon. And I don't own Full Metal Jacket or Platoon, so I don't feel I have the right to do those do that video without those two movies, because they're two of the greatest, you know, movies based on Vietnam ever. And I don't have them yet. When I get them, I will do top 5, top 7, whatever war movies. But you know, that's so. You know, if you wonder where the war movies are, that's why. I don't have Full Metal Jacket and Platoon, and I don't feel that it's right for me to do a top 7 list without having two of the greatest of all time on that list. But or else I would do it with the ones I've got. But you know, Platoon and Full Metal Jackets, you know, you've got to have them eventually, and I will find them eventually. But I've rambled on enough, so you know, I hope you enjoyed the video, and stay tuned next week for the either comedy or family or the combination of the two. We'll see you later.